What's going on, Amanda? Thank you so much for your patience. I really appreciate it. I've been going through hectic times, hence why I'm looking for an assistant because things have been going way too crazy for your boy. Let's go ahead and jump right into your sacred reading. I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen. I tend to go back and forth between sharing the screen and showing my face. Okay, my cat's attacking my TV. I have to move him. Felix, stop, please. Come on, you're gonna break the TV. It's gonna fall in a little estimate, and no one wants that. So yeah, I finally got a day off or whatever, like with no live readings. So I'm really trying to tackle a lot of these readings. So yeah, this is okay. Let me clear up all these, but before that, let me just see if I see anything crazy. Nope, 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 nope. Okay, no. I know what that is. That's Vesta. Okay, gotcha. So you have let me clear these out. So you have the classic signature of like someone who basically you have an opposition between your sun and your moon, right? Which can be difficult. But it's in astrology, like opposite signs represent the same energy but an opposite, like a completely opposite manifestation of it. So with Pisces and Virgo, it's the axis of service, right? Both signs are similar in the sense that they both want to help out. They're both very gifted at healing. They're both very, very, very like such pure. You're probably such a pure person. You're a Puritan. Someone that is probably very trustworthy. Now, you're very lucky that your Mercury is 7 degrees from your sun, not within 5, because that means that you don't have a combustion between them. So that's good for intelligence. And yeah, you have the same sun sign and Mercury sign as me, so this should be a very smooth reading because you will have you'll understand my language, the language I'm speaking. You'll get it. It'll make sense to you. My metaphors, my way of talking. So yeah, so basically, and then the rising is in Gemini, so your chart's ruled by Mercury, that same Mercury. Moon's in the 4th house. So I want to start off by talking about kind of like, the energy of Virgo and Pisces, and kind of like karmically, like why you might have this as your sun, your moon. Basically, like Pisces is like that high imaginative energy. I mean, I'm sure you know about your sun sign Pisces, but like it's really like very dreamy, very like in the spiritual realms, very in the imagination. It's very impressionable, right? So what's different about Virgo is that Virgo is it's all about like Virgo is a very practical sign, right? So it's ruled by Mercury, which is your chart ruler. So having these two together, it can kind of give you the ability, like, the Virgo ability to, like, for example, like if you, like, from a spiritual context, like to know that I can't just reach enlightenment by just like not doing shit, like Virgo is about doing, it's about making lists, it's about being in line with your mental, physical, spiritual, emotional health, right? Now, Virgo is a very mysterious sign. It's a very misunderstood sign by the masses because it gets a rap for being like, very OCD, and you know the stuff about Virgo, like just like worrying too much, this, that, and the fourth. And Pisces is the opposite. Pisces doesn't worry about shit. Pisces is like the energy of Pisces is like it's gonna work out somehow, and sometimes it's to their own detriment because they get really complacent and they just think that like God, or just because they're like good people, that things are just gonna come to them. Now, in some cases, it happens, but as you know, in this world we live in today, there's lots of work that's required. You can't just sit on your ass. If you're like a talented musician, for example, you can't just sit on your ass and not hustle. You got to get out there. You got to grind. You got to, do the Virgo stuff. So that's that. Aside from that, the opposition itself, and you're also dealing with like the Cancer Capricorn 4th 10th house axis. And axis, as I said before, it represents like there's 6 axes in astrology, and they represent the 6 opposite signs. And they're all very, very karmic. So when they're highlighted in a chart, you know that from a karmic perspective, that you're trying to find a balance between the two. So starting with Pisces Virgo, it means that you're born on a full moon. You're actually born probably like, I don't know, let's say like 2 hours or more than that, a few hours after a full moon, 2:45. So it's like, let me think. Doesn't really fucking matter, does it? But like, you're born like a few hours after full moon, so it creates like a very intense energy in someone. And it also creates an energy, just like how full moons are about accumulation and kind of like new moons are about like planting the seeds. Full moons is like when things kind of come to fruition. But there's very heightened energy, right? So that's kind of like, you can kind of put that to your own chart. And also, since they're opposite, there's this real like push and pull energy that happens when people have sun opposite moon, right? Where a lot of times they tend to they tend to find, like, especially earlier in life, they tend to struggle to find that like correct balance between the two. So they'll spend like they'll be more like in tune and in line with like one of the energies, right? And like, I'll give you a great example. My brother, he's Cancer Sun Capricorn Moon, so similar thing, born on a full moon, all that stuff. And he, I would say, is way more in his moon sign. It's kind of starting to shift a little bit the more like work he does and stuff, but I'd say he's more in touch with that Capricorn sign, right? The more because it's the more masculine one. So being a Pisces, as a female, you might be like more in touch with the Pisces side, and it's about like allowing that Virgo. So there's 2 different kinds of magic here. Pisces is like the ethereal, spiritual, out of this world, like that kind of like high spiritual magic, right? Virgo is more about like the earth magic, like alchemy, using like the practicalities and the things you find in the material sphere, like, to your advantage, right? So when you combine them, it's like, how can you use your Virgo-ness, which is like, when you speak of the moon, it's like you speak of like an emotion, like the emotional need. So the emotional need of Virgo is a certain order in life, right? There's like a need, and it can also be, there can be lots of anxiety that shows up with Virgo moons, because they can be very like in the mental. So yeah, there can also be like a big need for perfectionism, right? A big need for having things like perfect, and let's see if there's aspects. No tough oh, very wow. Okay, so you have like no difficult aspects besides that sun moon opposition, so kind of straightforward in that sense. So yeah, that tells me that these axes are very, very prominent. And the North Node is in Aquarius, so like, even just like looking at your chart for like 2 seconds, I was able to tell right away that service is a huge part of your life, being of service to your career and to your overall life, like giving back to humanity. And we have a follow-up, I'm pretty sure. So in the follow-up, we can talk about this and yeah, some other stuff. But basically, yeah. So with the moon in Virgo, like, there's this big emotional need to kind of like have things in order, have your routine in order, have your system, right? That then you can apply to whatever form of healing. I assume that you're some type of healer, right? I would just guess, based on you're born in 90 or the same year as me. but yeah, there's this real energy of like you have lots of mutable energy because all your big three are all immutable signs. So you're a very go with the flow type person. Um, but still, even with that said, with a Virgo moon, there's also this tendency to kind of like, want things to be structured. And I think it's a good thing in your chart. Because being a Pisces, being a Gemini rising, you can be kind of all over the place. But with Virgo, it kind of like holds you in check and makes it so you don't go too off the rails, if that makes sense. And kind of grounds you a little bit because of the Earth sign. So, and just so you know, right now I'm literally like meditating and holding crystals. That's kind of like the things I do these days when I do readings. So with that energy, right? The question becomes like you're an ultimate empath, right? So when I look at where's your Venus at? Aquarius. So you're an ultimate empath and you're someone who's probably very different than the people around you. And I think that you probably have some family karma that you're meant to deal with in this lifetime. Because like the sun is opposite or square the moon usually, and I just like my last reading, I said something similar. She had an exact square. You have an exact opposition between these two. It's like if you were to like write an essay, or like I have a book called Pisces Live Nine Lives available on Amazon. And in one of the parts I talk about like how, because I had a square between my sun and my moon, my brother, he has the opposition, and our parents are divorced. So there's a high chance that your parents are divorced, or that there's like some like a big difference in terms of their respective worldviews, right? So there's a big need to what's the word, to find like a really like positive channel for your energies, like for your spiritual energies. And we see that in the 8th house, right? Like there's Capricorn there and all these outer planets. So you're definitely like a very spiritual person. But sometimes with Pisces, you have to watch out for like the escapism, right? Because Pisces, as we know, is a sign that likes to kind of be in the imaginary world and sometimes move away from, the physical. So that's like where the Virgo can come in and kind of help you kind of structure things. But as I was saying before with the parents, it can be difficult to kind of integrate when you're these two sides of yourself, when both parents have like completely different worldviews. So curious to know about that in the follow-up. But then when we look at the ascendant in Gemini, right? That is an energy of pure curiosity. Usually Gemini risings, they like to talk a lot. I date one, so I would know. And they just like, they see life as this very like adventurous field of experience, right? They want to experience a lot of different types of people. It's very social energy, and yeah, they see life as like this big like it's a very social butterfly energy. Like, so they tend to be very social, and as I said, like have lots of friends, this, that, and the fourth. With the North Node where it is, right? There's this big need for you also, which is like the opposite sign, like a 9th house is opposite of Gemini, of going out in the world, experiencing lots of things, and then taking all that experience, right? Almost like kind of how like a journalist works, like someone like, or like a social butterfly type person, and moving it into a higher philosophy, right? Like it's for you, like a big part of your like karmic journey is about finding that universal truth, right? And then the fact that the North Node, which the North Node astrology represents, kind of like the mountain, the karmic mountain that you haven't climbed in past lives. So you have the same as mine, so I know all about it. And it's kind of shifting away from kombucha in my system. It's kind of about shifting away from the it's all about me energy that Leo South nodes can have, like where like being a star and being the center of attention, this, that, and the fourth can come very naturally. And moving your life towards where you're embodying through your career and through your dharma high spiritual principles, right? And also principles that really teach you about universal truth, right? Like kind of like time like taking all these like pieces of data that you accumulate throughout different experiences, and then tying them to a grand philosophy with which you then create your whole system of living through, right? Your whole career, your whole dharma, your whole life purpose. But with North Node and Aquarius, it can be difficult because sometimes people with South Node in Leo, and it's on the IC, so it's highly linked to your past lives. There can be that tendency of like coming in this life with a level of like entitlement. And with Jupiter in the second house, that's very, very good for finances. I call it the financial guardian angel. And I have verified this with so many clients, and they all kind of say something similar. It doesn't necessarily mean that you came from money, although you do have some eighth house energy. But like in essence, like I'll give you an example with like so many clients. They lose a job, but they always feel like somehow they're being taken care of, like on that financial level, because they've somehow maybe in past lives kind of conquered the lessons of money, if that makes sense. But with that said, you still have eighth house, which is opposing the second house. You still have Saturn there and Mars. So that can kind of create some issues when it comes to like joint um joint finances, like other people's resources and stuff like that. But overall, yeah, the Jupiter there in Cancer is very, very good for, and you're literally born 7 days before me. That's crazy. Yeah, it's very good for kind of, how do you say it, for manifesting, manifesting material gain, and it's also quite good for self-esteem, having like these like this like internal set of values that you subscribe to that run your life, which is very important for a Pisces to have, because Pisces, like, what can happen when you have a lot of Pisces is that you can kind of fall victim to like this chameleon like energy, right? And what I mean by that is that Pisces is a very, very impressionable sign. They tend to, like, especially when young, sometimes have difficulties like seeing themselves clearly. Now, you don't have any of these like really difficult aspects. So even though like I said the thing about your parents, and maybe like, there's some difficulty between them two together, or maybe they're still together, but they just are very, very different people. That, like, I don't see anything in your chart that would like make me think that you have like difficult karma or a difficult relationship with either of them. In fact, quite the opposite. I could see the case where it'd be actually similar to my family, where it's like, me and my brother both have very good relationships with both of our parents, but our parents don't talk and got divorced and stuff like that. I'm like switching between drinks right now, and I'm doing some bubbly water. Best bubbly water in the world is in Romania. So yeah, so that's kind of that. So speaking kind of towards the axes, right? With with Pisces, Virgo, it's understood. It's like how like being able to kind of structure like balance out the two, where you're not too in the dreamland, too in the everything's just gonna work out, but also like you're not too in the, like worrying, over analyzing this, that, and the fourth. So finding like a smooth flow where you're able to like structure your because like your sun's in the 10th house. You see it right here. So like that Pisces energy, it's channeled in the area of career. So like making an impact in the grand world is very important for you. So with the other axis, the fact that it's you have lots of axes emphasized in your chart. With the fourth, 10th, sometimes people who have that, they were a different gender in their last lifetime, and there can be issues around gender, around like kind of trying to find the balance between the feminine and the masculine within you, if that makes sense. Now, Pisces and Virgo are both earth signs, so that means that one's water, one's earth. They're both feminine signs, and your north node's in a masculine sign, air sign of Aquarius. So really, it's a very straightforward chart, from what I'm seeing so far, but it's really about like finding the balance between like inner life and outer life, right? Perhaps in a past life you were two with a Leo South node, in that kind of outer life, kind of star energy, so it's important to, like, especially with the moon in the fourth house, to feel very secure, like where you're living. Another thing about Pisces is that they really, really are sensitive, and they're super empathetic, as you know. So it's really important to, and even Virgo to an extent as well. So it's really important that you are someone who is hanging around the right kinds of people, right types of environments, and because there can be that very impressionable energy. So yeah, so finding that balance of like career slash outer life slash dharma slash going out in the world, and kind of coming back into your own self, into your own, you know and this speaks a lot to, like, when I'm gonna start talking about like the love stuff. um but like, yeah, like really like finding that balance, right? Because it would indicate that in past life, like, and since it's a full moon, it's like you're really closing like down like a karmic chapter, right? It's like there's some special, like it's very special to be born on a full moon, like think about it. Think about how you experience full moons. They're big celestial events, or being born, like not directly, but like hours after. Hours after a full moon, we still feel that really intense heightened energy. um and because the full moon, everything's enlightened, or everything's is very light, right? Because the moon is the brightest. So what it does in a natal chart is kind of similar, is that it makes you very well, it gives you the ability, and some people choose repression, but when you kind of dive in yourself more spiritually, it gives you that same ability, just like a full moon, um kind of gives you more access to seeing the moon. If you think about it like metaphorically in an astrological perspective, it gives you like more of an ability to kind of understand your emotional nature on a deeper level. So yeah, but once again, that balancing game between structure, order, Virgo, and Virgo is also, like I said, it's also a very spiritual sign. And Pisces. So this is like a really good chart for someone who could like do like some type of like spiritual work. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cough. Like some type of like spiritual work that they're easily able to kind of channel into their profession. But it could also be very artistic. And that's where I was going next, was the fact that you have Venus on your midheaven. So your midheaven represents your kind of outer life persona, like big picture. Like if you were famous, like people or on social media, people see the midheaven, right? It also has huge connotations to your career and what you do for a living. So when you have Venus there, it means many different things. Well, it's a very, very good thing, first of all. On one level, it can mean that you'll have like a very pleasant kind of work environment, whether you work for a company or work for yourself. It will give lots of like beauty when you're really going towards authentic career path, like lots of beauty. It's also very, very good for money to have that there, right? Very, very good for material gain and stuff of that nature. And your Venus is actually, yeah, since we're born so close, we have like very similar placements, right? Although my Mars had entered, Mars for me is in Aquarius, for you it's at the last degree of Capricorn, which speaks even further because it's a 29th degree right here. That speaks even further to this life being really all about like very heavy when it comes to finishing something karmic, right? Like karmic accumulation. Is that the right word? Karmic, like, yeah, like endings and getting somewhere. Now your chart is so straightforward because look at even Pluto, right? Pluto in the sixth house, which Pluto represents like our darkness, but it's also like where we have like the most power to kind of change the world, if you want to put it like that. Because we all have, as humans, we like, society makes us believe we're just like these like little robots that don't have purpose, don't have meaning. But like Pluto shows us that each of us have a potential to change the world, right? Like I know Vladimir Putin is not a good example with what's going on right now, but I'm just saying it from a pure astrological perspective, just because that's what popped into my head. He has Pluto on his midheaven, right? So he was meant to be very, very powerful and to like, Pluto can also have to do with like politicians and kind of like very like power and stuff in general. So the fact that he has on his midheaven is very, it speaks very loudly to that energy of ruling a country for as long as he has, and yeah, whatever about Putin. So basically the sixth house Pluto is speaking to this where my crystal go? I'm gonna use a different one right now. It's speaking heavily to like how in this lifetime, once again, you're really, really meant to be of service. Like you have a similar karma to me in a lot of ways, where it's like you've been the star, that like the idea of like being famous or being like really like kind of the center of attention, it comes super naturally to you. And it's on your IC, so like I said, it's from past lives, but it also probably shows up in your own family. I would imagine that in your own family, like you're kind of the center of attention, the star. I don't know if you're an only child. I can't really tell because, like, the third house also has to do with siblings. So that it could also be like that there's like really powerful karma with a sibling or multiple. But overall, like, I love that position because it speaks to, especially it's opposite Venus. It speaks to like a very fun childhood, like a very like third house. I see like where like there's like so much communication and just like a very like kind of fun loving um upbringing, right? But of course with the opposition of sun and moon, um people who have that, sometimes they, like, let's say, like, in my case, like, my dad moved to Phoenix and then to France. So I was always moving, I was like literally in like, I don't know, fifth grade or fourth grade, like on Friday right after school, going to the airport and flying to Phoenix and staying there for 2 days, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe I forget if I missed any school. I don't think I did, or like on longer holidays, going over there. So that led me to be, and I'm a Sag moon, which is different than you obviously, but that led me to be someone who, I think that speaks more to my Sag moon. I'm not gonna talk about myself, by the way. I'm just saying this as an example. That I've lived in like 8 or 9 different cities, so like 4 different countries. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, Pluto in the sixth, it's it's very service oriented. It's like it's kind of like complementing like the North Node, where it's like this shift away from me to we. That's kind of how I always put it, like this shift away from me to we. So I don't know how long you follow me for, but you probably like maybe heard me talk about how, and I don't know if you own my book or not, but I talk about how in my life, like especially because we tend to be in our South Node until we start to grow spiritually. Um, I always was really talented in music, and I had like tons of talents. Like like especially with like hip hop, like if I actually did anything with that, like I could be like a famous rapper. Like I'm that level of like natural talent when it comes to that, and I imagine you have a lot of those things too. But when I speak about the work I'm doing now, uh, I see how, like, yes, I have the talents to do tons of things but like if they're rooted, if like, and this is speaking to both of us, like whenever they're rooted in ego, like whenever they're rooted in like I want people to like me for being the superstar, this guy that's like better than other people. When it's rooted in ego, even though like music is an art and I love like the art and all this and that, it's still an energy where you might feel kind of blocked off from that kind of more Leo energy. Like not in the sense of like your everyday life. Like you'll naturally like be someone who's like, uh like a leader and a passionate person and someone who can really pump other people up. But now the goal is about shifting it. And I'll go back to my face right now. The goal now is about shifting it from like doing it for yourself to doing it for other people. And this is shown all over your chart, right? From the fact that you're a Pisces, like we get our sun signs for a reason. I'm a Pisces for a reason, you're a Pisces for a reason. It's because it's accumulation. Remember, this is a huge theme in your chart. It's the last sign. So, you know, being South Node in Leo, um, it kind of speaks to like how in this life you're really meant to take all of these talents. So like I'm sorry I'm talking about myself, but like our charts are so similar that it's such a perfect example. Like I'm like an example of this is like how I take my Leo energy, and you have a Gemini rising, so it's like a sextile Leo, so it's similar, right? It's like also very dynamic and very like I don't want to say out there, but like what I mean. Like Gemini risings, they're out there. They talk a lot. They communicate. They want to experience life. They want to have fun. It's another like one of these like childish energies. It's one of the reasons that me and my girlfriend get along, is that we're like two little fucking kids with our cats and like like never grow up kind of energy. Um, and I have to get back to the perfectionism thing. Noted. So yeah, like you're a Pisces for a reason, because you're meant to like get like one really, really like instead of like keeping these talents for yourself, it's about like being like, all right, in this life, I'm going to be more selfless. I'm plug my phone. Hold on, I need to like recharge this or I'll forget. I'm like a very like, maybe you're like this too. Like I'm a very much like do it now type person. Like everything now. Like I am like my mom. Like the worst word in my vocabulary is I'll do it later. Like I cannot stand that. I'll do it later. I guess it's 4 words. I guess I'll set. I will do it later. So it's 5 words. Yeah, that's like my least favorite sentence. Um, but like, yeah, so there's this big need to kind of like get in touch with your emotions more, get in touch with higher spirituality. And the best way of doing that is by following. Kind of have to share again for a second. I'll go back to my face right after, because I always say that my clients are very visual learners usually, regardless of your understanding of like the natal chart or not. What the fuck? Go back. So North Node right here, conjunct midheaven, and loose conjunct, so Pisces, so Venus on the midheaven, like I said before, like that literally, I know I kind of like moved away from it. Like it gives like lots of like beauty in your career. It's very, very, very good for like not like luck. Jupiter is more luck. Venus is more like you could like potentially like meet like your lover like in your job. Like my friend I was talking to last night, she has her Venus in the 6th house, and she always like ends up dating people. She like not even like she's trying to do it. Like she always ends up dating people that she works with, because she's like a high end, a manager, like a very, very high end, like London, like one of those like really luxurious like sky bars, and like very, very like classy type places. And she like her 6th house, which rules like kind of like your everyday life. She and it's kind of connected to the 10th, right? They're similar but different. She like tends to like date lots of people that she works with. So for you, it could be like, finding love, like when you're like really like in your career, like at your job, or doing whatever you're doing that represents your work in this lifetime. So yeah, but then the fact that the North Node is here in the 9th house, conjunct the midheaven, is that, with that said, and also I forgot to say that midheaven and Venus together creates artists. Like I have a good friend who has the same thing. She's not like, it's not in the same sign or anything, but she has midheaven and Venus, and she literally, that's what she is. She's a painter. That's what she does. She is a painter. She's like, that's like what her journey is, right? It's to go to art school and just make paintings, and make money from the paintings, basically. Like that's the what she loves doing, and what her what she decided that she's best at and she loves doing the most. So for you, it could be something similar. Now, now that I covered that, when we link it to the North Node, right? And another thing we have in common is that Venus, I guess it's far enough away for you, but like it still kind of counts, where your love relationships are going to be very, very faded, right? And that's just like all I'll say about that, because it is 9 degrees away, so it's like not like directly attached. But what for sure is true is that there's going to be a lot of fate in terms of your profession, your career, and what you're doing. Like you're really, really, you have a very specific purpose. Specific is maybe not the right word, but like specific within a realm of like within a specific realm, right? um like service, like giving back, that kind of stuff, right? I don't mean specific as like you have to be a fucking chiropractor, or you're not going to fulfill your life purpose if you don't do chiropractic. um so that's that. Now the fact that the North Node, like I said, it's like the destiny point in your chart, the part of your chart that rules the metaphoric mountain never climbed in past lives. That being, in the 9th house, is basically speaking about how, um, I already kind of spoke about it, how you're trying to assimilate in all of like the little pieces of data that you get, and I'll go back to my face, that you've kind of gotten through life and past lives with your third house south node, and you're trying to assimilate them. These are my verses, by the way. You're trying to assimilate them into a grander philosophy, right? That you can then take and move into your dharma. So this doesn't happen overnight. You're born in 1990. You're done with your Saturn return. Your Saturn return is really, and by the way, like just so you know, you got the follow up, and I would say like nearly everyone is doing what I'm about to tell you about right now, which is instead of just doing the follow up, it's doing the follow up mixed with the current astrology report. Because like right now, what I'm telling you, this is like the birth chart. This is like the hand of cards you were dealt. It never changes. You get this done once, boom, kaboom, kazoom. Maybe you get it done by different astrologers. You can watch this in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, like, and it's very trippy to watch in the future. That's why I put them on YouTube, because I know that they're safe there, and I've had lots of issues when I used to send them via email. People would like lose them and stuff, and this way, like especially like your identity is obviously hidden and stuff, like you'll always have this. But yeah, like basically it's really, really important to kind of like really spend a lot of time traveling, like physically or metaphorically, right? Like to different cultures, or whether it's like meeting people from different cultures, because your Venus in the ninth house, a lot of times that means, and it's in Aquarius like mine, that you, and like my girlfriend's Romanian. Obviously, I live in fucking Romania, so you expect. But like I could be dating a girl from many different countries. Like it's not like I could only date a Romanian because I live here. I could date a Portuguese or Turkish. Like it's not like it's limited, but it's like the point of that is that you'll probably be attracted to people from foreign cultures, but also the Venus in Aquarius. I love my Venus in Aquarius, but it makes, so I know all about it. It makes you like in love, like really, really, like you're very attracted to the eccentric types, like you're like anything that's traditional, you're like, fuck that shit. Like you are like all about, like age doesn't matter. It's all about here. And it's also all about how much space that person gives you. Venus and Aquarius, like they value their own, especially as a Pisces. So another thing about Pisces, and I have to get the perfectionism stuff too. So, okay. So they value space so much, and they're so good at giving space, right? Also, in love, it's like a question you have to ask yourself is like, to what extent, like the relationship is good to the extent that it helps you move towards this north node, that helps you move towards this destiny of moving away from me to we, right? So that's why when I talk about I love how this is all coming together. This is the cosmic puzzle. This is why I absolutely love doing these readings, because about, what are we at, like the 40-minute mark? 43. Yeah, it just like starts to all come together. So like that's why I spoke about kind of how, like, one, the relationships are very faded, but two, how you can meet like it's favorable, to meet someone from like a different culture, because it can help you expand your worldview and seeing, understanding different cultures. But three, that it's moving you. Wait, it just slipped my mind. The big thing I was gonna say just slipped my mind because I started thinking about something else. That's Pisces shit right there. That's Mercury and Pisces right there. Is like your mind just being in the clouds. But and what was I gonna say? Yeah, just like, yeah, exactly to like the whole fact, yeah, I remember, like that your midheaven is connected to your Venus, is it's just like it's saying that, like, like meeting someone who has a similar purpose is very important, right? And someone who's giving you space. And now that leads me to like the thing about, and I'll get back to that a little bit, but with Pisces, right? Mercury and Sun in the 10th house, and ironically, I'm not surprised anymore. You can like look at all my readings. If you spent like, if you took like 50 Adderalls, and I don't do Adderall at all, just so you know, like it's not even like a thing in Europe. But like if you took like 50 Adderalls, and I'm very sarcastic, like my sense of humor, like 50 days in a row and watched every single reading I've ever uploaded, you would see how there's like trends where I'll have like 3 or 4 readings in a row where there's like the same thing. And this is another example, right? Like the one I just had was a 10th house Pisces sun too. So basically like, but with Pisces, like so in the 10th house, like it's about like taking your spiritual gifts from past lives and putting them into your job. I've said that before, right? But this is the thing about Pisces and Sun and Pisces Mercury, is that you're such an empath and a sponge for energy that you can sometimes, like, you need to have time, like times of seclusion, right? And as a Gemini rising who's very social, that can be difficult. Even though Virgo sun, moon can be quite like, it can be pretty introverted. It's a pretty self-sufficient moon sign, Virgo moon. And I still have to talk about the perfectionism, but like, yeah, with Pisces, like you have I always say, like when there's Neptune in the chart, like filming yourself like is a big cure for like if you have any self-esteem issues. Filming yourself, like even like, hey, like you're not gonna show anyone, like this is, Amanda, this is my daily vlog. Today, this happened, blah 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 blah. Not that that's how you sound. I'm just saying, like, whatever. Um, that is very important. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. My brother, just being a fucking, like, he got all this money, and I'm like, you should just fucking listen to me. Like everyone fucking listens to me. I have like royalty, like millionaires that like listen to me. Like, why would you not listen to me? Like you should like take this money instead of buying a fucking car. You already have a car. Like, um, like travel the world. Like you have all these resources. Like just fucking go travel. Like you've literally like never, like you just stay in the US and you've gone to like, France and like places like that our family goes to, but you have never traveled alone. Like just have some fun. And he goes, nah, but we'll someday. Don't want to travel alone right now. I really want to get my career started and get a girlfriend. Want to lock down happiness in my real life instead of escaping and traveling. I get what you're saying, but I don't want to do it right now. And then he shows me a photo of the car. And I'm like, that's flawed thinking. Who is to say that happiness couldn't be achieved by enlarging your worldview and experiencing more diversity in life? See, that's kind of like some of the issue with like the sun moon opposition. Of course, his is a way more difficult one than yours, but like yeah, it just kind of like actually it's irrelevant because that's like the Capricorn Cancer speaking, which is like very like different than yours, just way more go with the flow. And um yeah. Also, remind me to tell you when we have our follow-up, just because I'm reading your energy and I like it. There's a key word. It's called secret group. That's all I'm saying. So remind me of those 2 words, secret group. That's all I'm saying. And mysterious, huh? But yeah, okay. So with Pisces, you're such a sponge, like on both levels, on the cognitive level and on the, I think I sent a photo just to show them working. On a cognitive level, like with your Mercury, like you can be someone who like takes in all, like literally like when you're like around lots of people, like because your Gemini rising will push you towards that. You can be the kind of person that like takes in all that information and you don't know what's yours and what's not yours. So a really good tip, I said the thing about like filming yourself, how like mirrors and cameras, that's ruled by Neptune. So that helps people with Pisces to kind of understand themselves. You see me, doing my vlogs and filming myself. And like, I do that for people, but like for a while, like when I was going through some shit, I was doing it for myself. Like I was literally like filming myself and like not even fucking posting it, like I'd post the ones that, like I thought were relevant, but like I would go into it just like completely authentic, and it helps you kind of understand yourself better as a Pisces. Perfectionism is next. So yeah, that's kind of the energy there, is that there's like, you'll learn a lot about someone else's energy, and you might already know this, but I'm just going to reinforce it for you. Very, very powerful tip for Pisces is to, like, let's say, like, because like with Pisces also, there can be a lack of boundaries, right? And we haven't even gone into your Mars yet, which is very good for push for like for the boundary thing. But just Pisces in general, if there is that issue of boundaries, like with people, and stuff like that, especially like if you like kind of like grew up and you're still in the same area, which, by the way, if you're ever thinking about moving, I do astrocartography too, which is like the astrology of like different places and how we all have like energetic hotspots. I'll just show you a little sample of yours. I don't know why the fuck I'm doing this, but I just do things intuitively, and then like, because like I figure you're kind of like me, so why not? Like that's your astrocartography map, and all these lines represent like energetic hotspots. Like for example, like this is like a great place for you, like the Horn of Brazil. But like if you like live right now, like where you're born, your astrocartography doesn't change. So like yeah, there's different locations that are really bad. Like for example, why don't I just look at the US? Like this area right here, Portland, Oregon would be amazing. That's where I grew up. I grew up in Portland. That would be amazing for you. Seattle, even better, because Seattle is like literally in between the sun and the Mercury. That's so fucking good. But um and Miami is really good for you too. And yeah, I don't know where you live, so whatever. But like the whole point is like it's a whole different reading, and it gets deep. But let me know if you're ever, I just like to let people know that I don't just do birth charts. So yeah. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. Oh, you're not. Wait, what just happened? Did I just, okay, no, you're not that person. You are not that person. I picked the wrong chart. Wait, did I just fucking not screen record that? Am I stupid? Okay. Duh, Jesse. Well, I said everything I said already, so that doesn't matter, but I was going to show you visually the whole point. This is astrocartography. Sorry for that. So you see how there's like these lines all over the world. These lines each represent different planetary energies. You have energetic hotspots, energetic cold spots, places of neutrality. And I was just kind of showing you how amazing like this area, like Seattle, Portland is for you. And then also how like, this Venus MC line that goes over like Charlotte, but also Miami is very good too. But you have like none of like the really, really bad ones in the US. Maybe like this small dotted one is kind of shit. That goes to like Albuquerque and stuff. But besides that, it's like there's not really any like horrible ones. So yeah, but it's like a whole, like I said, a whole different reading. So back to where it was. So yeah, so very important to kind of like you know what I mean, like like a like when you're around like a certain environment or a certain individual, maybe because like Pisces can be very, very like susceptible to like the energy vampire types. It's super important to kind of like remove yourself, not like be like, okay, bye, I'm leaving. Like really like meditate and feel into your own energy once you've gotten to your that aloneness, right? That place of being alone, and then you can start to feel like, do you feel drained? When you get back to your normal equilibrium, right? Do I feel drained? Like what, like mentally, like what thoughts are different, right? Like because you'll literally be a sponge for people's thoughts and for people's like just energies in general. So it's very, very important. That's more important for a Pisces moon, but still for like having 2 planets in Pisces, it's just it's a big thing. Okay, Virgo. Like, so aside from, and let's go back to my face. Aside from what I've been saying, the Virgo moon, like it's very, very like I said, like Virgo moon, Virgo Mars, like people can tend to have like anxiety disorders, or they sometimes like can be very overactive in their mind because they can like overthink things a lot. So there can be like anxiety, social anxiety, like any kinds of anxiety. But what I was going to say is that a lot of it comes from this perfectionism. So having your moon in Virgo, it could represent like your mom being like mom, or just early nurturing, like having like kind of like a very high standard for you, like maybe you're like the golden child or something like that. And like the whole thing with perfectionism, like where you hold yourself to like especially as a Virgo, that's where people are most susceptible to it. You hold yourself to such a high standard that like it's like 100 or 0. And it's really important for people who have moon in Virgo to understand that, because the moon is more hidden, and to know that like, okay, maybe my best for today is a 40, right? Learning self-compassion. I always say the thing with self-compassion, and I do this, I talk about this a lot in my therapy, or my astrological therapy sessions. Was that you I was telling you about it, or my last client? I literally no idea, but I do astrological counseling. I don't know if that was you who I told or not. I can't, no fucking idea. I just so yeah. But like I talk about, yeah, perfectionism a lot, and just like kind of like how like self-compassion is about treating yourself how you would treat your best friend, right? Because like so that's why meditation for like people like you is so important, is because you can really kind of like tap in, like when you start, especially when you start meditating, right? You see, like you're sitting with yourself and you see this, you don't see it, but you feel the self-talk, like, oh, I'm a fucking shitty meditator, I fucking suck at this stuff, right? That's your inner critic, which is hidden, right? And it's all about, through that process of meditation, and it can be anything. It can be swimming. I don't know why I thought it was swimming. It could be anything, right? Stillness is needed for you, right? But you do have Earth, so it's like, it's not like it's like you're unbalanced like me, or you like need to fucking like chill the fuck out. But there's a level of of deeper consciousness that comes when you start to kind of like tell yourself, okay, like I'm like, no, okay, I'm not a bad meditator, like I'm gonna sit with this, you have your timer on, I'm gonna sit with this for 12 minutes, like, and you just like slowly increase the amount each day. And you examine that self-talk, and then in your everyday life you start to see like, shit, like this is what came up for me in meditation, when I'm in this relationship, or like, when I'm trying to get this project done, like I'm always trying to hold myself to such a high standard. And a lot of people with Virgo moon or Virgo energy, like they'll, especially as a Pisces, where there can be like the self delusion, or not seeing yourself clearly, they can see other people as being here and them here, when in reality it's like they're here and the other people are here. So that's really important for me to note. But yeah, a lot of times like the mother could be like quite critical. So yeah, it's also Virgo moon, there's like a really strong link between the body and emotions. So it's things like yoga can be really, really powerful. Hiking for any Virgo moon is like getting in nature is super important, especially as a Pisces, love for nature, the water, like camping, stuff like that. And yeah, I would imagine you're someone who probably like changes residences a lot. Fourth house moons tend to do that, and I already mentioned that earlier. Um, and yeah, just really wanting to have like a secure home base. It's a big need for that. So yeah, like pretty much like Mars in Capricorn, 29 degrees. You're really like completing like this like 8th house energy of death, rebirth, transformation, you're really in this life, like you're going through a lot of work that's like inner, um, related to kind of breaking through, um, like stuck emotional patterns, right? That's usually with a Capricorn moon, but when you have a Mars in Capricorn, and it's trining the moon, it can be like that too. So it's like about like breaking through stuck emotional patterns through like deep spiritual work and liquefying stuck emotional patterns, basically. Now, having Mars in 8th house, it gives you this really deep drive towards like studying the esoteric, any of the mysteries of life. Like you have this real desire and need to kind of like push forward into those realms. Um, Also, it's a very, very sexual placement. And it's making one very like eager to like seek joint ventures. And yeah. So now the fact that it's in Capricorn, now that is a very, and also the fact that it's 29th, it adds like a very karmic element to it. Where you'll feel like, especially like, so your Saturn return must have been like a very, very, and it's conjunct Saturn too. So it's like you are definitely like that's another big indicator of perfectionism, where it might have been just like in your Saturn return, maybe you got into spirituality and growth like before that, but I imagine that it really like ramped up around the Saturn return. Maybe some shit went down. It really depends. It's very difficult to tell because you are a Pisces and stuff. But like a lot of the serious shadow work, yeah, could have like really like the next level of it could have started. But in like when you have these two together, like you are the ultimate fucking like manifester. Like you are someone who like, because like when this energy goes away, which is the Saturn return, like it kind of pushes away the difficult parts of Capricorn Mars. You have no idea how many super successful people have Capricorn Mars. It's unreal. And it's like I said, you have no red aspects in your chart, like from your personal planets. You have zero besides Sun opposite Moon, which is a big one, obviously, but like no outers in the hard aspect. So, and you have like also like Saturn is in a very nice aspect to your Sun and your Moon, which is so fucking helpful for a Pisces, right? Virgo, like it's giving you so much structure, so much hard work ability. But remember, as a Virgo Moon, you have to watch out for workaholism, tying too much of your self-esteem to your work and to your achievements. And sickness can actually come when you're not like kind of, it goes back to that 10th fourth axis, right, of being too much in the 10th in the public and the work life and all that. Work life balance, super important. So taking time for yourself and for developing your spirituality. Now with the Mars, there, like it's big time about like kind of getting to the end of a karmic cycle with Mars and Capricorn, which Mars and Capricorn is about like pushing through restrictions, like pursuing like personal desires in a very methodical manner, very, very ambitious. And yeah, so I imagine you probably had like in life, like you felt like you take like a step forward, then get pulled back, and then a step forward, and you're trying so hard, then now finally it's like boom, smooth sailing, and like you're still stuck with all that great determination, all the stuff, all those other attributes. Now Saturn in the 8th is interesting because it's actually quite good. For having like a rather serious like approach to studying like the esoteric, occult, and all that. Um, it can also make one quite freaked out by intimacy. And with your Chiron in the 2nd house opposing it, I mean, like that speaks to like family wounds, and Chiron in the 2nd house can represent a crisis of values where you really have to like dive deep into yourself and create a value system that you subscribe to, that you then kind of live your life based off of like these values, especially as a Pisces, because it can be so fucking mutable and go with the flowy. But also Chiron in the 2nd house it can give like a fear of financial insecurity. Now I already told you you have Jupiter there, so that will push a lot of that away. But yeah, it can lead to like poor self-esteem early in life. And sometimes people who have this, they search too much in the material world for self-esteem. Like getting things, possessions, accumulation, assets, all that stuff. So yeah, interesting stuff with the family, because like I see like the real positive energy, but then like Chiron and Cancer, usually it's like feeling like unsure of yourself and your own family, maybe like uh some kind of like maybe it's like some painful stuff with the father. Um so what happened, but you also like have this real intuitive ability to care for your own family members and your future kids if you have kids, stuff like that, and you're able to like teach other people like how to value themselves and increase their self-esteem and find their own internal value system and internal what's the word I'm looking for, like where you're not depending on anyone else. Like meditation is a perfect example, right? Like techniques and stuff where you can become self-sufficient within yourself and feel really really like whole within yourself. Okay. So yeah, the chart ruled by Mercury, like I said, is going to make communicating about like deep spiritual. That's why, like I said, the private group thing, like very important for you. You'll really like to be around like-minded people who have similar kind of views as you. That'll be very important for you, especially with your 11th house of friends and groups ruled by Mars and Capricorn. Like there'll be lots of karma in terms of the groups you join. And you'll get a lot out of it. But yeah, overall, like and I'd love to, if you do decide to do the current astrology reading, I would love to see like where all the progress plants are at and what the solar return looks like, and any key transits, because you've just finished Neptune is past your sun, so you're finally like starting to probably feel a sense. But it's because like whenever you have a transit on your sun or your moon, it's transiting both. Because think about it, your sun is here, your moon's here, or I'll show you. So like imagine like right now Neptune is like at 25 or 26 Pisces. So wait, one second. Some, one second. Something's going off in my headphones. It's John Oliver. Where is John Oliver coming from? Hold on. What just happened? That was so weird. Where do I have a tab open with like YouTube videos? Okay, I found it. Jesus Christ. How the hell does that happen? Like, I didn't click on anything. Okay, as I was showing you, so just like if you do end up wanting to do the current astrology reading, whenever you have a planet like that is aspecting your sun, it also aspects your moon. But it aspects your moon a tiny bit after, because it's 22 and your sun's 20. So Neptune, for example, is at 25 Pisces, so or 25, 26. So it's like it's pretty much past your sun, like so that's like a lot of like confusion, and I'm not going to go into like all of what it means, but like and it went over your Mercury before, but it's opposite your moon. And that one is still happening for a little bit. So that would be like a transit that could really color a lot. um I'm not going to get into it right now. It's a completely different reading, but like that plus so much more happens in that reading. So let me know if you want to do that. But back to the nail chart. Yeah, so basically like there can be like a fear of intimacy. I'll go back to my face. That has probably been like overcome by now, and it can actually make you like have like a very serious methodical approach, like when it comes to like studying astrology, studying whatever metaphysical thing you're into. Neptune, the eighth house, just beautiful placement, like just like one of the best places you can have Neptune there, or the eighth. It makes you like really feel at one with like the zeitgeist, and like really have this ability to like dive deep in it, metaphysical pursuits, and like understand them all like really easily, and also sense like the emotional undercurrents of different situations. It just speaks more of that Pisces energy you have. Uranus is also there. That's a great placement for Uranus. You have your outers in really good positions, because Uranus in the eighth is like, um, it basically like makes you like very fascinated with like the metaphysical and the deeper side of life, but it can also like in your dream life or your meditation, or when you're like really like getting deep with your spiritual path, it can like give you these like these downloads, these like you just get these down, like especially when meditating, you can get these like downloads where you just know things about the future. And I've told this to so many clients, and then they tell me the most interesting stories. So we can talk more about that in the follow-up. So yeah, like more like with the love stuff, like moon and Virgo. So, you'll definitely like want someone who is very stable, who you know, you can depend on that person in any situation. Like there's no part of you that's like tripping about like, is this person going to cheat? But like at the same time, being a Gemini rising and having your Venus in Aquarius, being a Pisces, they have to, they also have to let you be, let you go, let you live, let you flow, like you like because you have enough earth in your chart. And of course, like, I don't know, maybe you're in a relationship right now, I can't like know anything. I also do sit, I'm like a advertisement. I just like telling people like the things I do compatibility readings, synastry readings. But yeah, basically, um you can really, really benefit from having like a relationship that is very, very stable, but at the same time is 1 second, hold on. Hold up. I really want to do this synastry report. Whatever. But she didn't pay yet. I guess I was gonna ask my friend for some input on it, because she's like an expert with all this stuff. I got followed by another fake account. Remove follower. Okay, good. So yeah, like someone who gives you like, who's like a rock solid, person who also has like this need for like order and all that stuff. But who also, gives you that freedom, gives you that sense of like anything is possible. I already mentioned like the foreign culture thing, the fate thing, the part about like potentially meeting them at like at work, or like in your, like when you're in your dharma, in your career, which dharma can also be, some people like have like dharmas, like dharma, like your life purpose, that have nothing to do with like making money or anything like that. Like some people's dharmas are completely spiritual. Like some people have charts where it's like the money stuff is taken care of, because like God wants them to focus on a different part of their, soul's growth, right? Like they've like maybe already mastered all of the karmic lessons surrounding money, right? So it's not necessarily like just that, but being of service is all over your chart. I'm telling you, it's all over. It's all over your chart. And so that's important to have someone that doesn't block that. um in relationships, you'll come off as very, very balanced, someone who wants to keep peace, and you might be like someone, yeah, who like, yeah. But yeah, the whole thing with the Venus, and let's see. Ooh, so then one thing I didn't mention is that you have South Node, like me, square Pluto. That is speaking about past life trauma. Now you have this like just like me, South Node square with Black Moon Lilith and Pluto. You may have been a witch in a past life who got murdered. But like I talk about this in my book a lot, how like I never like had anything like that bad in my childhood, but you would have thought like I was like tortured and like had like the worst trauma ever, because I just like exhibited like the like I just like I had the same thing as you. So that's something we definitely need to speak about too, because obviously you don't remember that stuff because it comes from past life. So if you're someone who's easily hypnotizable, I'm not at all. Doing past life regressions could be something that's very, very powerful for you. I also know a really good psychic, another secret, that can speak to to that stuff too. But yeah, that's a heavy one. That yeah, I could definitely see you being like a witch in a past life. I already said like the thing about the star, but like yeah, someone who's like very, very powerful and got persecuted for being that powerful. But you still have all these esoteric powers, but then yeah, there's a little bit of fear of like going into them fully, you know? But now you're getting past, like you're definitely getting past that. Yeah. So and then descendant in you know, seventh house cusp in Sag. That's energy of like, you know, like once again like someone from a foreign culture potentially, or someone who wants to go on adventures with you if they're not from a foreign culture, and really experience life and like be stable, but also like really fun and expansive. And your part of fortune there is just saying how you're at your greatest flow state when you're doing that exact thing I just mentioned, and in like in relationships that allow you, sorry, to really like expand in that way. And yeah, Juno in Scorpio, it's like kind of energy of like your ideal mate. I always think of Juno as like your ideal kind of mate, like what you look for like in marriage. Yeah, someone who's very reliable and someone who's very loyal, basically. And also someone who's down to kind of go down that road of like you know, intense experiences, death, rebirth, transformation, stuff like that, because that's shown a lot in your chart. So this weird tick in my throat. I think you have your moon conjunct the nebula, if I'm not mistaken. Let's pull up my fixed stars and asteroids. And I was correct. So yeah, so like that's kind of speaking to like this like this really spiritual Virgo energy you have. Because the nebula is a star. The ancients talked about it being you know, very linked to seeking like higher knowledge. And you know, there's like weird information about it on the internet, but like, you know, I've heard it from like the real masters who really fucking know what the fuck they're talking about. Um, so you do have to watch out for like injuries to the eyes. Um, Here's Esme. The baby, the champion. I don't know if you voted for Team Esme. If you saw my poll on Jesse Innocent Astro Remix, my second account, but this is the winner. Hashtag Team Esme. She's really happy that she won, aren't you? See how amazing this cat is. She stays on my lap. That's what she wanted. Yeah, that's one of those stars that if you look up on the internet, it's gonna say a bunch of stuff that's fucked up. But if you learn from the real people that really know, which are very few in the world, it's one of the ones that's all about like finding truth and really diving deep. So it's like it's kind of like if you have your Virgo moon there, it's like giving some real spiritual energy and truth seeking, all that stuff. Okay, moving forward. I think I need to turn my brightness down. My eyes are getting kind of fucked up. I don't like turning F.lux on because it just makes me I can't like read like the symbols and the colors get all fucked up. It's like I don't know if you know F.lux is F.lux, but it makes it so your computer screen like at night like it dims it. Actually, it looks kind of nice right now. I don't know if it's showing on your side. Um, but yeah, it's very good for ice train. Now, there's one other thing I haven't addressed, which is your lack of fire in your chart. I need to talk about that before we end, but I'm just looking for any conjunctions. This one I keep seeing. Um, so, um, yeah, like Vesta on your sun. I mean, Vesta is all about like dedication, service, like it's very Saturn-like. So it's hardworking. So having that on your Pisces sun, it's going to make someone, you know, who really like is serious about what they're doing, pretty much, you know, and their purpose and whatnot. Now, where the fuck is the midheaven? Nothing on the midheaven. I mean, Venus on the midheaven. It's better than anything. Okay, ascendant, nothing there. So yeah, not really anything else I'm seeing. But let's pull up my other list of asteroids just in case. And yeah, when you lack fire in a chart, it can be a little bit hard to like self-start, because fire is like that energy of like self-starting and kind of moving towards like just that self-starting energy, you know, like that very passion energy. You have it, but the thing is you have it in your south node, so it's like there is some been there, done that, but still you don't have it, any of it in your natal chart. So when you lack fire, one thing you can do is you can take like baths with like fire, like actual candles, and do meditations where you stare and concentrate at the tip of the candle. And yeah, just anything related to, oh my God, my cat's so funny. He's brought his ball. I'll show you a little bit. I know that you love animals. You're a Virgo Pisces. FedEx, come. Watch this. He brought me this. FedEx, FedEx. Doesn't peek his head. FedEx, 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 FedEx. Okay, throw it. But anyways, as I'm showing you the cat cam. Oh wait, am I on present? No, I'm not, right? Let's see if he comes up. FedEx. Camera's on it. There he is. Look, he brought the ball back. FedEx, bring it to me, boy. FedEx. FedEx. Don't be so shy. Esme. What? FedEx, bring me the ball. Okay, I'm not going to go over there and get it. I'm not your servant. You bring it over here like you always do. Okay, he'll do that in like 3 minutes when I stop paying attention to him. So yeah, basically lacking fire can make someone lack assertiveness. It can make someone lack that fire. So we can talk more about that in the follow-up. Just remind me. Yeah, that is pretty much it. Thank you so much, and I hope you love this reading. It was very interesting to do a reading with someone who's born so close to me. I think I've only done a few of people born within like, 5-10 days. I mean, it's always very, very interesting. I've met people like that, but I don't know how many clients I've had that are like that. Anyways, thank you so much. And yeah, message me about if you want to do the current astro, plus the follow-up, or just the follow-up, and we'll get things scheduled. All right. Peace.